Another briefing on the topic of Russian propaganda and fakes. For the third day in a row, Russia has been using various means to question the truthful and horrific information about the massacres in the cities of Bucha, Irpin and others around Kiev. The whole world witnessed these events. Russian versions change. They judge them for the sole purpose of questioning what Ukraine is saying, what international observers and international journalists are saying. Let me remind you that the massacres were discovered after the Russian army left the city of Bucha. The Russian trace to the murders has also been confirmed by Human Rights Watch. But Russia continues to insist on its non-involvement and has released a whole bunch of fakes to litter the information space with its messages. But all these reports are shattered by the evidence provided by the New York Times. These are satellite images from the city of Bucha made during March 1st to March 20th, which confirm that the bodies are the same as those found after the Russian aggressors left the city. That is, satellite images confirm that these killings took place during the occupation of the city of Bucha by the Russian army. Meanwhile, Russia is trying to question this information in every way possible, using absolutely all methods. In particular, there were methods of propaganda which we have seen before, when the tragedy with the Malaysian plane MH17 happened. They tried to find some guilty Spanish dispatcher Carlos and even say that the people were already dead, just like they said when they shot down the MH17 Boeing. Today, Russian propaganda insists that the bodies of the killed Bucha residents were scattered by Ukrainians after the Russians left the city. This way, the Ukrainians allegedly tried to discredit Putin's army. There is more than enough evidence to the contrary. Versions thrown by Russian propagandists are falling apart in front of this evidence. Look at the cynicism used by Russian propaganda to question the information of the Ukrainian side. In particular, through their propaganda mouthpieces, they are trying to spread the version that the murders in Bucha are a provocation developed by the British Secret Service MI6. And now, the most interesting thing: who is the mouthpiece of this version? He is Ilya Kiva, a former member of Parliament of Ukraine, a member of a pro-Russian political party who fled to Russia and was deprived of the status of a deputy. This is a very good reason to remember who gave the green light to Kiva in Ukrainian politics and how he found himself in a chair of a deputy. I would like to remind our international viewers that Ilya Kiva has a certificate from a psychiatric hospital for his psychiatric insolvency. Thanks to this certificate, Kiva escaped criminal punishment for corruption in Ukraine. His words should not be treated at all as having at least 1% of truth. It will be recalled that Kiva has repeatedly stated that the president of Ukraine fled to Romania or Poland. With such statements, Kiva helped Russian propaganda. Another way in which Russian propaganda is trying to break Ukrainian information is to sow doubt that the truth about these killings will never be known. They are no longer trying to deny their involvement, but to claim that it will be impossible to establish the truth. They are based on a 12-year-old video in which the allegedly US military helicopter Apache shoot civilians in Baghdad. In trying to draw such parallels, they are simply questioning the true Ukrainian version of these events. Russia is also throwing fakes through its official speakers. In particular, they are using Russia's ambassador to the UN, Nebenzia, as well as the Speaker of the State Duma, Volodin. Someone may get the impression that these are officials and they should not lie, but in fact, they can. They have repeatedly spread lies, in particular about the alleged biochemical laboratories of Ukraine, the alleged production of chemical weapons in Ukraine, and so on. Now they have another task, to spread fakes about the murders in Bucha. Meanwhile, through their propagandist Solovyov, the Russians are trying to convince their audience that such terrible atrocities could not have been committed by the Russian army, in particular the direct speech on Solovyov's Telegram channel. Anyone who doubts a Russian soldier is a scumbag. It is published on a channel with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Meanwhile, the Security Service of Ukraine reports that a symmetrical scheme could be used by the Russians to justify the killing of civilians in Mariupol. The security service says that they have developed a scenario of new fakes where Russian propagandists will play an important role. Russian troops plan to make a large-scale provocation to gather in one place the bodies of the dead Mariupol people killed by the Russians, and then to present them as victims of the alleged Ukrainian military. To this end, false status are already being spread that the Ukrainian military is using the civilian population as a human shield. This is a lie. The security service of Ukraine assures us it is the Russians who are destroying the civilians of Mariupol. In early March, the dead were forced to be buried in mass graves already. These videos have been shown many times. I no longer mention bombing of the theater and maternity hospital and many other civilian buildings. Ahead of us is an acute phase of the information war, because Russia's crimes have been proven at the international level. Therefore, I urge you to believe only the trusted media, as well as the Ukrainian media, the government and the political leadership. Thank you for your attention.